Welcome everyone to a live episode of the MLO Project here in Idaho. I'm excited to be here for our high table mastermind with my good friend and co-host, Mr. McAllister. Michael, what's up, buddy?
That's me. We're live? Are we live right now?
Well, we're live now.
We're live. Okay. We're live. We're rolling.
Take the live.
Dude, this is I'm riding a high right now. I think I said that on our last episode that we recorded, but I just it's so
He means it this time. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
It's great to have you here in Idaho. Great to have Jason here in Idaho.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it's been a great trip so far. So feeling good. I'm excited for this.
Yep. You obviously can see that we have a guest with us, and that's Jason Kindler. Jason, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man? I am excited to be here. We've had a awesome first half of the day. Never been to Idaho. It was all new for me.
Yeah, apologies. No, I dig it, man. This is this house. How about this house, right?
This house is unbelievable.
We don't even know what room we're in. This is we just picked it out.
This room we're in is as big as the house.
Yeah.
And it's
the master bedroom. It's the bedroom. We're literally recording this, and there's another closet / bedroom in there. That's the freaking master bathroom over there. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, before we get into just a conversation, keep this fun and fresh, is give it for people that don't know who you are, whatnot. Give us just a quick little intro to yourself.
What your question first. We've done this with a couple guests now.
Okay.
I just want to be have you ever listened to an episode of the MLO Project?
I have listened to one.
Okay. All right.
Which episode?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
That's fine. That's better than
we're making an impact.
Yeah.
We'll figure that one.
Yeah, we're making
So our podcast, it's the same thing. We've had it for year and a half, and I asked the same thing to my team, and they're like, "No, not yet."
I want to, just haven't had it. Well, see, if you would have said it, then I'd been like, well, tell me why Michael was the worst part. But now I can't remember, so it doesn't work. But yeah, give us a little back of the baseball cards.
So back in the baseball card. I like that.
You like that?
Yeah, that's good.
I stole that from someone, I think, KT, I think.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. So back in my baseball card. Been in the mortgage business 24 years. So 24 years I've been on the broker side to retail, back to broker. So I own First Coast Mortgage Funding in Jacksonville, Florida. My partner Aaron and I started the company about 6 years ago. So I'd say this is that I've been an originator, pretty good level for my career. But my passion is helping people, helping loan officers in this business. That's really what I get a lot of joy out of. So still do a lot of origination, but we've grown the company quite a bit. And that's the trajectory that we're kind of on right now. So
as look, we obviously have talked with a lot of originators, clients, coaching, all of that. And, when you look at what was your outlook coming into 2025, and what when you were coming into 2025, looking at the past couple of years and the market conditions and whatnot, what was your plan? What was your goal to achieve this?
So numbers wise, or just in general?
No, just in general. What because I know you obviously care about growth and whatnot.
Yeah.
So other than a goal of being on this podcast, what that was number one. So check that off. But other than that, what did you want to achieve coming in? And that really has to be production, but more of it look, I want to create stability with my team. What was your main focus?
We actually laid that out pretty extensively versus previous years, and with growth of the company. One of the things that we're very focused on this year is how can we become more efficient, more efficient. And, now we're, in, fourth quarter, and I could look back and say, we have definitely put an emphasis on that, and we've crushed a lot of that. A lot's been technology. I think that, people that are not using technology, they're not going to die. but
Yeah.
they're going to be way far behind. What other companies are doing.
Yeah.
So we've had a huge emphasis on that.
Was there something in the 2024? Was there something like in your guys' projections for what 2025 is going to look like that makes you? I mean, because sometimes growth is the number one focus. When your goal is efficiency, that's typically stemming from like a drop in profitability or a significant drop in projected income.
Yeah.
Right?
It actually stemmed not from a drop in profitability, but more of a knowledge of where we stood to the bottom line, and then how can we provide more for our launchers without and grow as far as volume, but also keep the bottom line. And so that's hard, and with a lot of the technology that's there, a lot of the buzzword AI, right? So the AI, what's possible, right? So I think
Yeah, we had that conversation earlier. About
Yeah.
that. And that's where I liked your perspective is like, and that's part of what we're doing here at the high table isn't to say like, shiny, and we'll talk about shiny objects, but it's really about what's possible. And then, kind of throw out the dogma of like of all the experience, even though like experience is important, although if you don't turn it into expertise or at least growth internally, it doesn't really matter. But that's what I like, as you said, is like, we're here to really just see what's possible.
and kudos to you guys for putting this on the way, but with the intention that you did. And we're not done with everything yet, but I mean, it's a really good perspective because it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. It means nothing. It gives you a little experience, but the way this world is right now and what it looks like now and what it's going to look like in 2030. I mean, it's anything's possible. And I think that's the part where I get excited. I love, geeking out a little bit, calling Michael, like, I don't understand this. But that,
But I want it.
right, I want it. I want to learn it, but I don't understand it. But I think anything's possible. I think, between, our leadership meetings, now we're talking about, this year, we're talking about, hey, forget what you know. Is this possible? We have some really great young leaders in our company that they're pushing the envelope. So people in this industry, everyone's pushing the envelope, and if you're not open to it, it's a problem. That's what I love about the tech piece of this side and what's possible. So it doesn't matter how you did it before. That was great. That was successful. But how can you line yourself up so that you're becoming more dominant?
It's funny because we can have this conversation and it almost sounds like we're spouting out cliches of like, oh, it doesn't matter what you did yesterday. It only matters, experience. It matters if you grow from it, but you got to leave it in the past and stuff. Like you could say that at any point over the last, probably forever. Like you could just use that as like a general adage, a general way to like think about growth. But the reality is what we're talking about is how the technological landscape has shifted so freaking much because of AI, because of outsourcing, because of API integrations, because of tools like High Level, even Arrive, which shout out to Arrive that from an LOS standpoint, and it's been the case for a few years now from an LOS standpoint. Like there's nothing on the retail side other than what they built proprietary. That is going to compete from like a loan officer experience and efficiency standpoint. And so you stack all of these things up together, and that's what leads us to the theme and what we're talking about at the high table is the ideal. Like we no longer need to think in terms of like, okay, well, here's the resources that I have access to. Here's the technology that's within reach. And what's the best that I can do with that? That's back-assed. Like right now, we're thinking in terms of like, what is the pinnacle? What is the perfect? Like as close to perfect. I love the word the ideal because perfect, I don't believe in, right? You're always chasing perfection. The ideal, I do believe in. The ideal is a direction. The ideal is a northern star, right? It's like it's a star in the sky that you're reaching for. And that's ultimately what we're doing here is we're aiming for the ideal, knowing that between AI, between integrations, between really powerful platforms, between the platforms that we already have access to, like between the talent that we have access to, both in-house and overseas, like there's never been an opportunity like there is today to be able to execute and provide that ideal experience for our customers.
And it's exciting. I mean, I can say like this year, and then especially moving into next year, like, like the actual loan process and doing loans and things like that, like after 24 years, it's like it becomes the same thing, but now it looks different. And I'm excited about, okay, what can we build? What can we build? What can work? And then the loan officers have more time for family. The loan officers have more time to originate. Like, what can we do? And it's exciting. Yeah.
So on that same track, like if you could pick out, one opportunity that we see going into next year, something that you want to have as like a core focus, what would that be?
I would say I'm going to focus on the operational side.
Yeah.
Right. How efficient can we become operational?
Mm-hmm.
We have different models, different everything, but our model at First Coast is that, we provide all the support to an officer, right? So we provide all the support, which is, LOA, our front end processing, our processors, clothing, everything like that. Mm-hmm. And how do we continue to become more efficient on that?
Yep.
And not only, close more loans and things like that, but how many things can we either automate or, virtual assistant or something like that, so that our processors can do more of the front end or the client facing stuff, but then also not be stressed, be less stressed and things like that. And I think we make great strides in that, but that would be one of the things moving into next year.
So double down on efficiency.
Yes.
Okay.
So realistically speaking, if the market changed, if something drastic happened in the market, all of a sudden we're in the heyday again. Mm-hmm. How does that shift? Is it like I'm going to invest in operational efficiency for as long as as long as the market doesn't do that, so that I'm as prepared as possible for when the market does do that, and then the focus kind of shifts? Or like what it like picture, COVID rates happen again starting next month, and none of us saw it coming. How does your focus of 2026 change if that?
It's a great question. So we've been prepared for that for almost 2 years as a company. We've been, heavier on operations. It's not that we were betting on that rates were going to just all of a sudden get in the fives. We'd have a spike and things like that. I think we've built it as efficient as possible without being completely bloated to where people, you're way overstaffed. So, we always try to be where if I had 40 loans, right, 40 loans to 50 loans that dropped in our lap tomorrow, that we can handle that and we don't have to hire any. So that's kind of what we've been planning.
So I think, when you focus on operational efficiency, one is speed matters, down market, up market, development matters. Speed always is a killer, right? And if you don't have it, it's a killer. If you have it, it's a killer. So I look at it as when you really set up for the operations, with a lot of originators want that deal with it.
Yep.
How many things go through no matter what's happening. And when you have that, it gives you an edge, because then you are prepared for any potential swing. So when you do get an influx, and we do have, I'll call it like, booms, but more of like when you have those rushes, refi opportunity, or, we don't know what's going to happen. How's it? That you're prepared for it. And so no one has to go scrambling.
Yep.
And more importantly, so that you are helping your originators keep those relationships that they have, that they're focused.
So with COVID and when rates, drop into the twos, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think what we learned from that, or what we've learned as a small company, is that we want to be as nimble as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and we're experiencing that right now. We've had a lot of great conversations over the last couple months with originators that are on the retail side. And there's a lot of great things on retail.
Yeah.
But the one thing is that when rates drop, or you're going to have an influx of purchases and refis, right? So when that happens, it's hard to move a big ship, right? It's hard to hire people and then keep your loan officers happy.
Yeah. It's just horrible. Like, this is something that I would like. I'm sitting here like almost in awe. Like, I just love the broker channel, and I love like examples like you and the broker channel, because pointing to retail, like all they can do is staff like crazy when that happens.
Yep.
And then it's horrible for culture, because what happens as soon as rates go up is they just lay off a bunch of people. These are people's friends, people's, like people that they hang out with in the office every day. And it's just like, it's just a disgusting cycle that repeats over and over.
We've done a good job as a company and our whole entire leadership team on retention and things like that. Sure. But, when we do grow and we're hiring someone that went through that, like they were loving life, and then they were like, it's like you gotta find a balance, right? And on the breaker side, and I think a lot of what we've done and the way we've modeled, take the UWM approach, right? I look at it like, before UWM started doing a lot of things they were doing, there's probably other companies that said that can't be done. That's not possible.
You think?
And they did. So I think that even on the smaller scale of small brokers, or medium size, whatever, is like, it can be possible, and the cost of tech now is so low. The technology cost is, some of the things that we're doing, is as far as go ahead level and some of the things that are implemented in that, like, that was only like huge companies could afford all that tech. And now,
and they're still spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to get shit. Yeah.
And it's now the playing field level on that, to where, and being what we are as a local based broker, we've pretty much doubled the size of the company in 18 months. And a lot of that has been what we invest, locally, so that, I'm an originator too. Right. So I want the best of everything as an originator. So that's the way we think of it, is like, the loan officer, we want to be better than what they can get down the street.
Yeah. So one thing I want to do new for the podcast is because, great questions, learning more about you. And I really do want to learn more about you, because you're leading a team. So I'm going to call you Jay on this one. Jay, if you don't mind, Jay.
That's what my family calls me. So we're family.
We're going to try something new.
I'm going to call you Jay. They call you Jay on this one. So the question I have is, if you think back on your career, because you've been doing this a long time, can you name like a failure that had a big impact on you, that kind of like spearheaded your growth or powered your growth because of failure, that you learned something that really made it?
Wow. Business wise or personal?
Either or.
Okay. So
he's floored at how bad an idea about this sounds. Just
no. Probably the greatest question I've ever been. That's her.
So, I'm a transparent person. I think that from a leadership perspective, I don't. It's not sugar coated. It's not everything. So, when you have success in the business, right? So I had a lot of success when I was young, 23, 25 years old. I was around a pretty big company, and it all crashed down, with the crash. And I think being resilient is probably one of the traits that people say I have. It doesn't matter what gets thrown, doesn't matter the market, doesn't matter what's going on personally. I've had some major personal things. I tell you, tomorrow I'll be 13 years sober. So going to the personal side, really struggled with alcohol when I was younger and everything like that. But I think that piece right there, whereas, I was broke, everything was just a mess. The market had just crashed, it was a mess. I think whatever's happening in the business world, I look at those times where I'm like, I could not grab a drink. I could, it was just that was my vice. And I said, whatever's happening right now, it's nothing compared to what some people go through. And it's nothing compared to what I remember that feeling being.
Yeah.
So I think just in regards to that, I mean, that was a huge catalyst, and there was years of struggle, whether it's financially or whatever after that. But one thing I knew is that if I stayed sober, everything else would probably get better, and it has. So I think, a little bit off topic there.
No, that's great. And that's why I asked that question, because, at the end of the day, as this, what I say to originally is, well, this business is not, this business is not for the weak. And until you're in the industry, you don't really understand it. And so that's why I asked that question, because that is not an uncommon story, or failure, especially when you're around during the crash, right? Everyone has the crash story. But, when you mix it that, I come from family alcoholic, so I understand very, very well. And Native American, in European, so drinking is part, in the blood. But that's important, because it's that resilience. It's because there are people that are maybe struggling with that now. And what I want people to hear, because what I've noticed is that sometimes it's a message, sometimes it's a messenger, right? And so I want to ask that, because whether it was that or some other thing, hey, I got fired, or I did this, and then I've learned from, look, I'm going to tell me whatever that happened to be, if someone's going to listen to that and be like, maybe they're in that predicament. And then maybe it's just I didn't really realize I was in that until I heard Jay talk about that, on that question. So
I think that, it's part of what I, love to coach, love to teach my team different things, whatever. But like I said, I'm raw and I'm transparent. And one of the things I do believe internally, and then I try to tell people is, in this business, there's highs and there's lows, man. You got to keep it here. Yeah. If you can keep it there. But one mentality thing that I love is that, and I believe it, is that you are 100% in control of your income. You're 100 at all times.
Right.
And a lot of people go, yeah, but the market, but this, you're still 100% in control. I know people, and personally, I've had great years the last couple of years. Production, personally, I know people that are setting record years right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's the quote unquote bad. The rates are out. Whatever. These guys are I'm talking about. They're closing. They used to close 20. Now they're at 50. They used to close 100 million. Now they're at 150. These guys. So it's 100% mindset. My opinion. To wrap this up, I know that you've been working on something lately that's a little bit outside the mortgage industry. Typically, what I like to do, we have a guest on, but just kind of give you an opportunity to plug anything and plug whatever's on your mind. What have you been working on? I was thinking that, as I'm sitting here, I was like, I would like to be coached by this. No. And then so I know you're working on that. So I want to give you an opportunity to talk about that and kind of wrap us up.
No,
I appreciate that. So, it kind of goes hand in hand, but my mom was just brief story here. My mom was a teacher for 35 years. My mom was my hero. And when I decided that I wouldn't be a teacher, and my mom said, you're not being a teacher. You can't make any money on it. Not in those words, but it was but that is what is in my heart, so I decided, this year, kind of a passion project, as I've been in the business for a long time, is that I wanted to take what I do. I've done, internal coaching for 24 years, in management, and I coach my internal loan officers, some one-on-one, some as a group. We have that internally. And I decided that I'm going to start giving, and I give a lot of stuff for free on social. I build all my calculators, I do all that. So I give all that information out. But I am building, and a lot of it is, I saw what you did with yours. I'm like, you know what? That looks really awesome. I don't have to, with Go High Level, I can build that now right in there. And so I'm building all of basically a port, right? So a portal that has all of my, coaching information. The cool thing is, and this is the technology piece, for 2 years, we've been recording every single meeting, every single coaching, every single thing. And so what's cool on the tech side is that now I literally, when I started planning this out, I was like, okay, how many plans? Wait a minute. I have 2 years of transcripts. And so with the AI, it's basically, little modules, all that stuff. And I actually have a coaching GPT, right? This is the geek out part. Like, so I have a coaching GPT with 2 years, and I keep it updated.
WWJD. What would Jason?
J. It's J. Yeah.
Keep up, Mark.
But basically someone can go into that, right? And they can type in I'm new to the business. What would you do for a realtor? And it spits out what I have said over the last 2 years and like game plan and stuff like that. So I love the tech side, but yeah, that is something that I've been working on other than all my other Ds. We're definitely calling it that WWJD.
Let's do. You heard it. Yeah, you heard it here first. Yeah. Right. So we'll put your contact info in the show notes, so you guys could reach out to Jay here. And good dude, right? I got to learn more about you and talk with you. So it's definitely been a good time. So, Idaho Mike, you want to wrap us up?
Send your home. I guess I wasn't prepared for this.
I know you never are.
That's good. It's right on the spot, man.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I just want to say thank you again. Yeah, I appreciate it. Nice to it on. I know that we recorded something down in Florida, and you get a previous pool club together with it. So, anyways, thank you for being on. But with that, guys, that is make sure that you guys follow us on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube if you're not already. If you're listening to this right now, you're missing out on the better part of this, which is seeing Frazier like completely awkward on camera. And so make sure that you subscribe on YouTube. You'll get access to all of that and more. But guys, thank you so much for listening. Until the next episode, which we're going to record another one or two in here. We're having a couple full ones. So definitely subscribe on YouTube. Another shot there. But until the next episode, guys, thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you at the top.